Hey everybody, Todd Jeffries here, and welcome back to the Face to Face podcast, where we highlight some local small businesses here in town. And, collectibles have become a thing that people invest in. You've heard all the stories about comic books and baseball cards, and some people making a fortune. Well, there's a place in North Austin that's called Collectors Crossroads. It's owned by Darren Spahn and his family, and a lot of his collectibles have become investment opportunities for you.
Absolutely on that point. We try to cater to some people that walk in the store that want to just buy a gift for someone, which we have tons of those. And then there are collectors that like to collect certain things, like they like comics, or they collect records, or they collect sports memorabilia for their man cave. And those are collectors. And there's those serial collectors that say, well, I want to collect a whole set of Topps 1953, baseball cards or something. And then you have the investor, and we love the investor because those are the people that come in and say, I want to put something away, not for myself, but for my kids and for my family. And it's something that I can enjoy, but still have it appreciate in value. And that's where you get into the true investing level. We had the event about the Babe Ruth baseball as one example, right? But we have lots of different genres of collectibles like that. We have militaria, we have designer handbags that grow in value.
Sure.
We have sports memorabilia that grows in value. And it's probably 10-20% of what we sell up there, but lots of investment-grade items.
And it's really good because you're actually getting something.
Absolutely.
It's not cryptocurrency.
Exactly.
It's real. It's a real Babe Ruth baseball.
Absolutely.
And that's a real tangible thing that will increase in value and things like that. I think a lot of people can understand comic books and baseball cards as an investment because people have been doing that for generations. But there's a lot of other things, too, that you have, like movie memorabilia, things like that. And you told me a story one time, heaven forbid, a great movie star passes away today, then their value of their autograph material goes up.
Always goes up. That's right. Because they're not signing anymore, of course,
right.
If it's autograph or they're not creating media anymore. So all their stuff goes up in value. And it gets to the point where everything over time will become more valuable. There are some things that do decrease in value, depression or glassware, things like that.
Sure.
But certainly Hall of Famers, certainly, anybody that's recognizable, movie stars. And, you talk about Clint Eastwood, he's getting in his 90s, right? Or his 90s. So there are certain ones you can start looking at as investments, playing that over time. People do end up passing away and their items go up. It's like art. If you think of art, we're artists. They don't make any money until they do pass away, and then all their stuff goes up.
And then somebody else makes money.
And somebody else makes money on it, right, too. But there are quite a few collectibles that are really true investments. And if you look at what's going on in the Bitcoin market, that's going down the stock market. These are tangible investments you can hold. And inflation actually drives them up in value because the dollar gets weaker, that item gets stronger, and it goes up in value.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And and it's more than just like an autographed 8x10 of Clint Eastwood. You actually have real movie memorabilia.
We do. We have movie props from the movies. We have the gun from the movie Speed with Keanu Reeves. We have Clint Eastwood items, recognizable items that were actually used in the movie.
Yeah.
Right?
What's your favorite item you have at Collectors Crossroads? What is the one thing you go, I got to show you this?
So I have that Greek helmet with the cheek pieces that are rams. That thing is about 3,500 years old. It was worn by some warlord in Greece 3,500 years ago.
Where'd you get that?
Amazing. I actually got that through a dealer in Dubai. So I have a network of people all around the world that are dealers as well, too, or they hunt and find things. I have people come to the store from all over the country. They go to shows, and they know what I like to collect and buy, and they bring them to me, and they take a piece of it, and, I pay them a little bit to do it. But I have my tendrils everywhere. And then things walk in the store every day. We buy every day. Saturday is like a 20-buy day. So people will bring, and some people will bring in real junk, and some people bring in real treasures.
How do you determine what you're going to buy? Is it just if it's something you think you could sell?
It is. It has to fit in our collectible genre. So we have all our genres of collectibles we do, and we don't go outside that. We don't go to weird items or large items. We don't really deal in furniture. There's some big things we don't deal in. We try to stay in those key areas that we buy.
Right. And I know you have guns, swords.
Yeah,
medieval
FFL license,
medieval gear,
entire sets of armor. We love history. Come experience history. It's like a museum. You can buy things, and you talked about that.
If I bought something like that, where would I sell it down the road? Just online?
So people sell. People really learned how to sell through COVID shutdown. There's Etsy. There's eBay. There's now. Be careful because those areas are fraught with fakes. They're fraught. All of our items are certified. We have the provenance and such. So you have to be careful when you buy on those sites. But to sell, you can sell. There are a million places you can sell things now.
Do people bring you things just to say, hey, Darren, is this worth anything? And what do you think about this?
We do.
They may not want to sell it, but they're just like coming for your expertise.
We do. We don't do appraisals yet. We're working on doing that because the problem with appraisals is you have to charge a lot of money up front to do it, and people don't want to spend that until they find out what it's worth. And
right.
And a lot of times it's worth a lot less than they think it is. People will see something on eBay. Oh, they're selling it for $50,000. I want $50,000 for it. It's like that's what they're selling it for, not what it's sold for.
Right. That's what
it's sold for $3,000. Right. So
that happens.
It happens all the time, and they get all excited thinking, and it's maybe not the signed version, it's the unsigned version or whatever. So you can use these places to figure out what it might be worth, but until you have an expert look at them, you're not really sure. And it could be worth more than you think too. So
a lot of people, like I said, they can understand comic books and baseball cards, but there's all kinds of other little collectibles that have come along over the past 10, 15 years that adults may not be familiar with, that are huge collectibles where people are making a fortune.
A ton of money.
Pokemon cards,
old toys that you kept in the packaging, right? You would think that, when you might have played with it as a kid, if you left it in the packaging, it's worth 10, 20 times more now.
Really, the packaging.
Packaging makes all
sense.
the difference. The condition makes all the difference. In any collectible, it's condition, packaging, rarity of the item, and how many people want to buy it. Really.
Maybe a story behind it.
Oh, stories are great. Yeah, we have Providence letters. I have a sword that was carried in George Washington's army with a letter and documentation behind it, literally carried by one of his commanders in his army during the American Revolution. That's history.
That's awesome.
And that's not something you can see every day.
You do have some museum pieces.
We do.
You truly do.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And do you? I mean, you have a large collector's crossroads is large, but do you have other stuff at home and in your office and other places?
I used to have things at home. Now I have them in safety deposit box and such because I have to be careful, on that. So most of our stuff, luckily having a store, I can show it off. So some of my best pieces now I have in the store.
Good.
Because that way, and they're marked not for sale. And if somebody wants to buy them, I have some obscene number on them. But I want to show people, and I'll take them out and they can handle them, stuff that they couldn't do. Even going to a museum, you can't handle the items, right? So that's the fun part about running the business.
And your business is not a new business. I mean, collectors selling this, it's been around forever.
It has been. But usually you have one store. Like we're like a record store, comic book store, sports memorabilia, all rolled up into one. You can't find, I don't know anywhere else in the country you can find all these things under one roof.
It's true. Yeah, you see a lot of places that are just comic books or just records.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, and you've got it all right there.
Exactly.
Thanks, Darren. Darren from Collectors Crossroads. And you can find more of our podcast conversations at newsradioklbj.com.